that we have speaking for this time period. And we have two candidates for Tribal Chairperson, Genevieve Dotsey and John Huey. And we have candidates for Tribal Vice Chairperson, Tanya Lewis and Brian Marquez. Let's welcome them all four of them here as our candidates.
All right.
So we will begin here in a moment with opening statements. Candidates will get 2 minutes to introduce themselves to all of you and talk about why they want to represent the nation as a chairperson or vice chairperson, what their qualifications are, and why they are the best candidate for the office. As they're doing that, you are welcome to ask for cards and start writing your questions. When you have a question written, you just need to wave it, and either Carol or Kathy will collect it. So it can be an ongoing process, because we know as people speak, you might say, oh yeah, I really want them to follow up on what they've said, and here is my question. So don't be shy about asking for a card and writing a question. So with that, why don't we begin? And I would like to begin with the candidates for Tribal Chairperson. Genevieve Dotsey, you have 2 minutes.
Okay. Dagode Genevieve Dotsey Gongse, Shema Genevieve Marquez Dotsey Gongse, Chitad Natty Marquez Gongse. I am from the Willow Road out of Rocks Clan. My grandfathers were Robert Gadsey, Jim Whitehead of San Carlos, and my grandmothers were Sarah Irene Jackson and Laura Whitehead. My qualifications to run for tribal council are: I am a former council member, 2 years. I am a former judge of the Yavapai Apache Nation and the Havasupai tribe. I have experience in tribal, federal, and state laws. I am a former tribal court advocate and a Maricopa County Superior Court advocate for ICWA children that were in the court state system. I have knowledge of the current goals and objectives that the council has been working on for the past 2 years. And in order to bring the goals and objectives of the current council, I believe my qualifications and skills would enhance those goals and objectives that we've been working on for the last 2 years. We need to continue the process, and as a leader, I believe we can make those goals and objectives come to fruition. So I'm dedicated, I'm passionate. Those ones that know me, I try to do the best that I can to help you in every situation, but my knowledge and skills with tribal court, federal, state are going to only enhance our tribal sovereignty. We are a sovereign nation. We need to be there for our people, and you know that the past 2 years I've always been there for you. And thank you.
Thank you. Candidate John Huey.
Good morning, members of the Yavapai Apache Nation, community members. My name is John Huey. I come from the Rimrock Reservation where my family is. My mother is Kiki Casca. My father was Hispanic. Before I was adopted, my name was actually Bernardo Casca, for those of you guys that didn't know that. But once I was adopted, it was then changed to John Huey. I've been serving as the chief of police for the last 4 years, but I've been in law enforcement with the Yavapai Apache Police Department for the last 17 years. Through that experience alone, I've really gotten to know a lot of the community members, a lot of the families, a lot of my family, and got to experience some good things and some bad things with them. And some of those bad things are kind of why I'm running for the chairman of the Yavapai Apache Nation, because I see things that I would like to push to get change. I'd like to promote better laws, better enforcement for our housing departments against non-natives that are committing crimes on the reservation. A lot of the laws that we deal with now are sufficient, but they're always improving. So I would like to get a lot of those things pushed through. The other reason I'm running is mainly because I want to help people. I've been doing it for the last 17 years, and if you've experienced working with me in my law enforcement capacity, you know how I'm, wholehearted. I love to help people. I love the children of our nation. I love our elders. I'm also a father. My beautiful wife sitting over there. Her name is Desiree Huey. I've got four beautiful children. Another one is a grandchild that we get to raise sharingly. And, I'm just very blessed to have this opportunity. I'm not taking it for granted. Being a tribal member of the Yavapai Apache Nation, not everybody gets opportunities like this to just run for an office. So I'm very blessed, I'm very thankful, and it's very nice to see everybody here this morning. I look forward to answering the questions the best I can. Thank you.
Thank you. The two candidates for Tribal Vice Chair, the first one to speak is Tanya Lewis. Tanya.
Thank you.
Tabi gojo everybody. Nden insli doje di nasha shima ini wikopa inli chini inai baninsli shita Lyman Lewis hotse shima ini ito Lewis shichahi shi naki. Good morning, everybody. My name is Tanya Lewis. It is an honor to stand before you and be with you as a candidate for the Vice Chairperson. Thank you all for your support. As a candidate, my qualifications, I have been a previous Tribal Council member. I served a 3-year term from 2010 to 2013. I worked for the Executive Office as the Executive Assistant for the last 2 administrations, so I've been there for 5 years, where I currently am today. Prior to that, I worked at the casino for 10 years, and I also worked in the tribal government in several departments with the nation as well. The one thing I would like us all to work on for all the council is doing the best they can. And as part of that, as an addition to the tribal council, I would also like to focus on all of us being part of the government. Let's all work together, let's all communicate, collaborate, and engage. By doing that, we can work closely with our departments through the executive office. Let's work with our departments together to make one big solution for all of us. And as what I like to do as well, I think it would be really helpful, is for all of us that work in the community, and even those outside of the community, your thoughts are important just to what is going on. And I like that the council would like to reach out and extend to our community members and get your feedback on big decisions that may come that comes before the council that will benefit all of us in the long run. And I appreciate this opportunity. Thank you.
You're welcome. Brian Marquis.
It's Marquez.
I apologize. Marquez.
Mahamaga Gamushe, Dagole. My name is Brian Marquez. I'm from the Wibukaba and the Haiset Oltam, which is the people of the sun and the sand people. My mother's Catherine Marquez. I'm married to Corley, and I have 5 beautiful children, a son and 4 girls. But not only that, I have an extended family, and that's everyone here and outside of the reservations that are tribal members. And that's really important to know that, because we all have to support one another. When times are rough, times are hard, we have to pick each other up. We agree to disagree, to make that into a positive, constructive criticism, to turn it around, find solutions. And that's what we need to do, is find solutions for all these different questions, different areas that we need to work on. I retired from the military with 21 years, 8 months, and 28 days. Just because I was gone, it doesn't mean I was left here. I left because my heart was always here with the Yavapai Apache Nation. I never left. It was always here. That's why I came back to Middle Verde. I grew up in Clarkdale, but at the end, I got my college degree. I got it in applied science, then I got business. In the last 4 years, I worked with I was a contracting officer representative appointed by the state of Arizona to deal with military contracts. And what I want to do is, everyone always says, well, not everybody, some people say I. But if you look at that poster right there, voting is power of people. And the preamble, what does the preamble say? The first sentence, we, the people of the Yavapai Apache Nation. That's who we're going to serve, is we. It's your right and it's your privilege to vote. And we need to start getting more individuals, tribal members, in there to vote, to make decisions, because you have 4 good candidates here that are running, but we need everyone to come out and vote and help support one another, because when you support people and they get elected up here, continue supporting them. You're not going to agree with everything, but continue supporting them, because you always get a lot of backlash afterwards. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you all for your opening statements, and I'm sure that starts everybody asking questions. But let's start with a question that our organization is posing to get some more discussion going. I've got some good questions, but we can solicit more. So with this, I'm going to start with John on this one. What are the most important issues or biggest challenges you see facing the nation, and how do you plan to work on or resolve these issues if you are elected to represent the nation? 2 minutes.
One of the biggest problems is ourselves. We are so opinionated on every little thing that we do, either as tribal leaders, as tribal members that work in the governments. You know, that's hard to get over. Really, we're one big family. So if you have a leader, and any of us could fit that role, that can tie both the government, the community, the goals and objectives of everybody the best you can, and kind of bring people closer, I think you're going to get a lot more things accomplished that way than when everybody's just nitpicking against each other. Yavapai, Apache, Middle Verde, Camp Verde. Those really come into play, and if you don't live here, you know, on the reservation, that's a real big problem that I see, is getting everybody to work together with one goal. And I've got some ideas through law enforcement on how I work in the police department and how I bring my team together that I'd like to share with the administration and with the community. And it's just really being involved, really everybody having a say, really having that open door policy as a chairman, taking ideas, because a lot of the community members are going to have great ideas. A lot of the employees are going to have great ideas. And if I can roll with those great ideas and push them as a chairman, then you know that's going to give power to that community member and the group that they're supporting, and confidence for them to maybe one day move higher, you know, take a director position for our tribe, because we need more tribal members in those types of positions. Not saying that the non-natives, you know, can't do that, but I mean, that's our goal as people, to do better, to do the best we can. That's how our grandfathers and forefathers set up this tribe to be. So creating unity is going to be the biggest problem and the biggest, you know, obstacle, but I'm up for that challenge. So, thank you.
Thank you. Genevieve. Yes, I sure can. What are the most important issues or biggest challenges you see facing the nation, and how do you plan to work on or resolve these issues if you are elected to represent the nation?
Okay. We currently have 2,596 enrolled tribal members. 750 tribal members currently reside on 5 communities. And the biggest issue facing our community is our finances. What do our finances look like? What are the revenues that are coming in from every facet of our businesses? Our grants coming in? Are they sufficient enough to sustain our economy? We are facing a global economic crisis. Are we prepared for that as a nation? So one of the major issues that we need to deal with is our current financial status. And the way to work through that is to gather that information from the finance department, the tribal treasurer, and share that with the council and have a plan of action. How are we going to be sustainable for the near future for our future generation? So the first matter to be dealt with is our finances. And if we don't know what our debt ratio is, and if we don't know what our numbers are, how are we going to plan for that? So that's one of the major issues, is communicating and sharing that information, not only with the tribal council and working collaboratively together with you as well. You tribal citizens are stakeholders, and all of our information and financial information is key. You need to know what it is that, how the council council and your tribal government is going to utilize those funds. We have a fiduciary responsibility to manage your assets of the nation. And so each and every one of you have a stake in how we utilize both revenues, gaming revenues, and grants. For all of us, we as a nation need to be aware of that. Thank you.
Brian Marquez.
Well, I can't pinpoint it down to one because there are so many different issues out there and some that we don't even know about and privy to. But we have to work together to solve those with different solutions, just like housing. Housing's always the big one. I was going around campaigning against housing, culture, economics, we're all the three big ones. But I want to talk about something different too, instead of talking about the same thing going down the line. So I'm talking about housing. There's a low income tax housing, but what's it doing to the tribal members? You barely have to make any money to get in there. How are you supposed to support your family? How are you supposed to live off of that income? Maybe we can have more 184 home loans where individuals can get a home loan, move in, like in Clarkdale, they have half and half out there. But then we have to look at the economic side of that too. We're bringing all these tribal members back. Are we going to have jobs for them? What are we going to do to help them be self-sufficient when they move back out there? So we're going to have to open more jobs with that. In our culture, culture is a big thing, and I always emphasize that. Our family's not the one to go around and brag and talk and stuff because it comes from the heart. When you do culture, it comes from the heart. And like Lorna Hazelwood, she had a good suggestion during like WIA on Fridays. Maybe have, if we can work it out, have all of them learn something for that day in culture. Maybe go around, because I know Frida Swanner made CDs, pass those out to everybody so they can practice learning. And from the Apache side too, pass those out. Coloring books, anything to start them out and get them familiar with it. So then they become more involved. They know who they are. They know where they come from. They know who their relatives are. And you start off, you might not say every word correctly, but at least you're trying. Then they're there to help you and assist you and say, okay, no, you say it this way. No, you say it that way. And they feel good about it, and they talk about it. And then you'll have a lot of people out there helping one another from the Apache and the Yapai side. There won't be no barrier there. So, thank you.
Tanya Lewis.
Thank you. What I feel is that, yes, there are several challenges we have, and one of them that has been expressed throughout every of the individuals is our economic development. Economic development is very, very important to the nation because we have to look ahead. We can't look to today. What about our grandchildren and our children that are not here? We need to think of them and bring them home. But we have to have something for them. We have to have something for them to have as we go on, to pass on for 7 generations, and that's very important. With that, it comes with creative thinking for the tribal council, for the people as well. The tribal council can also work with our community. What about putting together working groups? What about getting your ideas, our ideas, to work together? That's where the communication comes from, collaboratively and effectively. That way we all have a say. We all are recognized because every one of our voices is very important. The one saying I like to share with you, I learned, you say, nasin kes, nahanta, ine, si hasin. We do that through economic development. That makes us our people. We have to think about it. We have to plan it. We have to implement it and then reflect on it. It needs to be beneficial for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's go straight into some questions from the audience, and I wanted to continue on that economic development notion that Tanya brought up because we have a couple of questions around that. And I'll start with actually, Tanya, you get to start this because you're on my rotation for that. You've talked about it, but can you talk a little bit more about what is your vision for economic development? Why do you see it's important? Things around job creation or ways why or what it means to employ our tribal members and ways to generate more revenues? Time? That's a big question, 2 minutes.
thank you. One thing, as I shared, of course, with my response to the last one, is we just work together. We work together collaboratively. I feel that with the tribal council, we know that we can work outside of this room. We can go to youth, we can go to our buildings, we could go to our homes, and we can pull a group together, core teams, even if we don't live here. Chime in through email, or we can work creatively how we could. I know one of our members had shared, what about Skyping, the capability of, even if we need to come here, we have the capabilities here in this room to do it. Let's work together. And with that, with economic development, as I said, we need to reach out to our 7 generations. Right now, the majority that runs and provides for our people is gaming revenues. Right now, we are in the middle of compact negotiations, and anything could happen. Anything could happen. And we need to be prepared. We as the leadership need to be prepared to see what we are going to do with that. With that being creativity, there's different opportunities out there. Whether, when we first started our casino, we know we sought out an investor. We did not put the money in ourselves. And it was great and it flourished, and we had the opportunity to buy out early. The opportunities are still there. And also with the financing is the same thing, is making sure we are sufficient enough through grant funding, making sure that we are doing what we are providing with economic development as we bring people home. We also need to make sure that we are upkeeping our services to our people. As our land base grows, our services need to meet the needs of our people. The more people come in, the more assistance we will need. And with education for all of our people, or even some of us just like to go to work, it's an opportunity for all of us. Thank you.
Brian?
With economic development, like I stated at the last forum, we have 2 prime locations which can grow into more. One by Conoco on the 60, that's a big spot right there because of the roundabout. And one of the biggest things they sell there, I'm pretty sure, is tobacco. And if that's true, then maybe we should have like a little smoke shop there like they have in Clarkdale and bring in more revenue there. And the other spot's right below the casino. I know they had master plans there. I know they had things there. They paid a lot of money for that. A lot of different areas they paid. And where are those plans at? What are they doing? They paid thousands of dollars for them. They're probably just sitting on the shelf. We need to make something right there going down to Tuesday Boot, because that's a high traffic area because everyone going down there. We don't have to start big. We can start small, then grow off of that and keep growing and growing. And that's how you get marketability to the casino. You can go there, then you can market the casino, then they go to the casino, and see how it is. And with the casino, we have to find another way to make revenue there. And another way to do that is through marketability, through social media, getting out there, telling everyone what's going on, the events, having different sorts of events, what's going to bring in the income, how we can generate the younger population, the older population, everyone around, come and enjoy what we have out there and work with our different areas to provide different, so we can be self-sufficient in the long run without having to worry about grants. But grants are great, but we have to adhere to them also with the right policies and procedures out there. And that's a big one, policies and procedures. We have to make sure we follow it all, because in the end, it'll get us. And with that, we have to find solutions to everything that we do and everything that comes before us, and work as a team to get things done and move forward, because everything that was planned, there's nothing wrong with happened, but we just have to move forward with it. Thank you.
Jeremy, can you repeat the question?
Yes. What is your vision for economic development, and why is it, what is more important, or why is it important around things around job creation, or generating revenue, which might mean employing, not employing our tribal members if necessary? What are the ways that your vision really of economic development?
So part of the duties of a chairperson is to share their goals and objectives with the tribal council and work collaboratively together. So the vision would coincide with the current council. And some of the items of discussion that we've had is a lube and oil station car wash. The area below the casino has a master plan that every council for the past years have paid for the master plan. And I would like to see that. The master plan below the casino is vacant land that we haven't even touched to encourage more of economic development for all of us. And we have a small business development office that we can collaborate with, where tribal members, if they want to go into business for themselves, went to the fair yesterday, and that's an opportunity for our tribal members to have their own business where they can depend on themselves to bring their own economic development to sustain their family. So there's been many ideas. There's tax incentives for those investors to come and put up the money to help create economic development. We need jobs for our people. We need businesses for our people. We also did write down that we do have an economic development department. We have a business board. So we have to work collaboratively together and come up with a vision together. It's not just one vision, but it's a vision for all of us. All of us have a part in what our nation decides to do economically, and it's to be able to have the funds to take care of ourselves and not be dependent on the government so much. So sustainability of economic development is open to all of us. Thank you.
John?
So for economic development, I wanted to bring, if elected as chairman, I want to bring some ideas for renewable energy to the table for the tribe. We own lots of properties off the reservation that are in, Yavapai County and other areas. There's a possibility we could look at what's called those windmills that generate electricity. There's a possibility some of those areas are located in some of the places that would be great for generating the miles per hour for those turbines that you could use. Then you could make your own energy, sell it back to APS, or provide it or offset what we pay for electricity for the casino or for the reservation. The other idea I had was talking to the council about solar energy. We do have solar on a lot of our new homes, and a lot of our community members, you get experience, a very little APS payment, if any. I myself don't have solar, and the bill that you pay for that is huge. The tribe, if they could look into doing some type of solar investment into solar for all the homes on the reservation or into another type of renewable energy source, I think you could offset what we pay for our utilities now, which may allow you to invest in the Middle Verde corridor, or you see that Yavapai County wants to do that Middle Verde, that road through close to us and connect into Middle Verde. Maybe we could use that money to buy land and start doing some development. Maybe not manage and operate it, but lease it to major organizations. Because that road's going to be used. So mainly renewable energy was my idea to something different that we've never discussed before with the tribe. I know that the current council is working on some economic development ideas, and I would like to jump on board with those. Some of the discussions, I kind of know the people involved, so hemp is a big thing that the council's talking about, debating, and I have a little information about that too. So if elected, I've got some ideas, renewable energy, and then also coinciding with the current council's ideas on their projects as well.
Thank you very much. While we turn our attention a little bit to administrative operations, and begin with Brian on this one, is name 3 goals to better the tribal administrative operations, and how are you going to make those changes? Why don't we do 1 minute on this one? Sorry.
All right, we just have to remember is the separation of powers between tribal council, administration, and the executive department. And as far as the administration, the managers and directors set their goals and objectives, and we follow them and we listen to them because they're in charge. They're the ones that are hired to do that. And that's the best way to do it. So listen to them and proceed with their goals and objectives. And if it don't work out, then get with them again, and maybe we can revise it and do it a different way. Because if we go in and start changing things up, then we're going to be micromanaging, and that's not what we want. You might make a hostile environment. You want a nice environment where you're there to work, work in a healthy environment, healthy mind, work together as a team. So you want to listen to everyone that you hired in the leadership positions to help them with their goals and objectives so they can better fulfill their department's needs out there to help, because ultimately it's the needs of the people. These are the people that help them. Thank you.
Genevieve, would you answer that question? What are the 3 goals to better the tribal administrative operations, and how are you going to make those changes?
So recently, I would, having access to tribal services, number 1, availability of our departments to tribal members. And one of that is communication. So one of the problems that I came across was calling a number for one of our departments, and the voicemail was full. Number 2, calling the cell phone, and the message says, my phone is broke, don't leave a message. So we need to, sit down with every department and look at what are your needs. How can we better serve our community? And that way is by communication, collaborating, going over the handbook, going through each job description, going through your goals and objectives, and knowing exactly what kind of service are you providing to the nation? What will you do to improve the access of our people to those services? And so it's collaborating, it's communicating, it's sitting down, and having a different day for the director meetings. Thank you.
John?
Can you repeat the question?
Yes, name 3 goals to better the tribal administrative operations, and how are you going to make those changes?
Okay. My leadership style as chairman would probably be security. The employee needs to feel secure in their job. They need to be proud of their job, and they shouldn't be worried about politics affecting their job. As an employee, I think that's important. Otherwise, you're not going to get a good work product. They're always too worried about what's going on outside the workplace and not focusing on the job at hand. The ability to advance, like I said, the goal for our tribal members is to advance in their positions. And if you have supervisors in place now that support that idea, that's great for our tribal members because it gives them the opportunity and really the opportunity. It's on the tribal member. They have to do it for themselves. They can't just expect that job to happen. It takes hard work. And the last one was...
How are you going to make the changes?
Yeah, and those changes basically by leadership style. There was one more thing I put in there too is accountability. Employees have to be accountable. If you're going to have jobs and you're going to have a government that you're running, like Genevieve said, accountability is huge because you want to make sure the community members receive good service.
Great. Tanya?
Okay, 3 goals. 1, with the administration. I believe we should work collectively and closely and collaboratively with all of our departments. By doing that, we can share the expectations we have because we in the executive office, the people have expectations of us, and we should have the expectations of the people. And we need to provide and ensure our departments provide all of us satisfactory ways or situations where they can give us referrals to help us out. The second one is engagement. We need to engage more with our departments, which we can communicate again with our expectations. The third, for the administration, I would ideally love and will happen, I know with this administration, for the chair and vice to work together. Let's work together for a better government. Let's work together for a better administration and services for our people. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next question talks about programs and positions, and we'll begin with Genevieve on this one. Do you feel there are duplicate programs and positions that can be combined into one to save funds for the nation? And where will you see the needs to be placed, where will you see the needs to place the funds into that are saved? There's kind of 2 questions. 1 minute.
Okay. Yes, there are currently duplication of services. One example is our Attorney General's office. We have attorneys, and they report to the Attorney General. The Attorney General then reports that information to us. That's duplication of services. We do positions that are duplicate, and we do have an REDW report that needs to be shared with council that talks specifically about duplication of services, and any money saved needs to be coincide with the budget. So if there's a surplus, that surplus money should be set aside, guarded with a resolution so that we know exactly what that money is going to be spent on, because we have a growing economy, we have a growing tribal population, so we have to plan for the future. So duplication of services is wasteful government spending that we need to curb. We all need to be aware of it, and we need to take action. Thank you.
You're welcome. John?
Can you repeat the question, please?
Yes. Do you feel there are duplicate programs and positions that can be combined into one to save funds for the nation? And those funds saved, where would you like to see those funds reallocated to?
I don't have access to the REDW report, but just from observing as a director myself, working for the police department, there are certain departments that I would have to look at, if, chosen as chairman, to see if that redundancy of services is happening. I don't run the other departments. I would kind of need to talk to those directors of those departments to see how they feel. Maybe there is a need that I'm missing. Just because I read something on paper, maybe they can tell me as a director or as a manager of that program, because they're the ones working in that field. I don't work in that field. Maybe they can say why that position in their organizational chart kind of duplicates itself. Maybe there is a reason. We as community members are kind of picky on the services we get, so sometimes we're not the easiest people, to service. So there may be a reason, but if there is, I think I could talk to that manager or director and say, I think this would be better served and the money better spent elsewhere for some of the departments that are, taking a shortage in the budgets every year, especially for our youth.
Thank you. Tanya?
Yes, that would be a way to look at, is to look at what the audit has brought back. There are duplicate positions, programs, and then of course the reallocation of funds. I think the priority for us as people in government and administration, I believe our top priorities should be our elders and our children. That is our top priorities. We should, if there is that there and it's specified where the departments are, we could bring them in and talk with them and see what is the reasoning. And then also, if the council feels that yes, we should reallocate, then we should work together. And I would encourage us to think for our elders and our youth. Thank you.
Thank you. Brian?
With different positions and jobs within the community and the reservation and the tribe as a whole, everyone has an organization chart and they go before council. So I'm not the one to determine, because they're the specialists in that field. Maybe there's different kind of specialists in one area that we don't know about, and we have to collaborate and talk with them about it, because just because someone might say to us, oh look, that's a duplicate job, we can't go by hearsay. We have to look at the facts, look at the paperwork, talk to them directly with that. Maybe we can move funds around here and there to try to save money, but sometimes moving that money is going to take a tribal member's job away. Maybe we can provide them with more work to do instead of get rid of that position in a different area. Because that's what we're here for, is to help our tribal members out, be self-sufficient, and obtain some income with that. So my thing is, I would have to get with the different departments to make sure that there is no areas that are the same. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question, we'll start with John on this one. This has to do with social issues. When reports are made on tribal members who live in our tribal homes due to domestic violence and drugs, what are your plans in removing them to protect our families and nation?
So recently, I had a conversation with a tribe back east that developed a law that outlines the rules for non-tribal members to reside on their reservation. It's really unique, and it's a result of a young girl who was killed by a non-tribal member who was murdered and was residing on the reservation. Ended up having a really bad criminal history and they weren't aware of it. So this rule, this law, kind of shared it with the Attorney General's office, and eventually it'll get to council and all that, outlines rules for non-natives living on the reservation. If they're going to spend over a certain amount of time, they need to register with the tribe, whatever makeup that is, and the tribe gets to decide based on the way that's set up, their criminal history or what they've done in the past, whether or not they're going to allow them to stay on the reservation. I think that would curb a lot of the problems that we're dealing with in our newer communities, where a lot of people are living on the reservation that aren't even tribal members and don't have any ties here.
Tanya?
Thank you. May you repeat the question, please?
Yes. When reports are made on tribal members who live in our tribal homes due to domestic violence and drugs, what are your plans in removing them to protect our families and nation?
So these are tribal members, just so that I understand correctly, these are
Yeah,
tribal members
who live in our tribal homes,
and they are the ones.
and there's a problem with domestic violence and drugs. What are your plans in removing them to protect our families and nations?
Okay, if I'm understanding the question correctly, it is the tribal member, and it is their home, and they are the ones doing
Yes, there's
the
a situation
okay,
happening
okay,
in the home.
I just want to make sure we're talking about us. There are tribal laws in order for all of us that we're to follow. And if we are not abiding by what is required of us in our homes to ensure that we all provide a safe and healthy environment for all of us, because we are one family, and we are here to take care of each other. We're supposed to love each other and look after each other. And we do that. All of us do that. If we're doing that, then there are laws in place intact that need to be upheld. As long as they follow the proper procedures through law enforcement and through the court system, that should take care of that situation. But if we are doing that to each other, then we need to be held accountable for our actions.
Brian?
There's currently a domestic violence and a housing code out there, and that's what we have to follow by. It's not that it's bad, it's just sometimes that things need to be revised, because when it was put in place, it was put in place for a good reason. And most of the time, whoever the perpetrator is, the victim, even if it's a non-tribal member, gets to stay there if they're the ones that were attacked. And there's different things we need to look at on it. I'm not saying that it's wrong or bad. Sometimes, just like everything else, everything was put in place for a good reason. And just like evolution of time, times change. We change, and we just need to put things up to our perspective and where we want it today. With that, just like drugs and alcohol, that's a big issue out there. Maybe we can put it, like, whoever gets caught with drugs, put in the Kanaba out there, like, whoa, what, this person got caught? Yes, and it'll just slowly trickle down and get rid of it. And hopefully, it'll still be around, but hopefully get it down a lot from where it's at today. Thank you.
Genevieve?
Can you repeat the question again?
Yes. When reports are made on tribal members who live in our tribal homes that are about domestic violence and drugs, what are your plans in removing them to protect our families and nation?
Okay, in 2006, the Tribal Council enacted the Domestic Violence Code. It's been in existence. It's very stringent about how many strikes you have against you, and the third strike is you are banished from this reservation. So there is exclusion and banishment that is a law within our nation since 2006. So the courts and our individuals that are in charge of ensuring that the policies are followed have to make sure that they follow the law. So there could be a term of banishment. It is also to educate our young children that domestic violence and any type of offense is not our culture. Our families, our mothers, our sisters are sacred. We're a matrilineal tribe. We need to teach that to our young children on how to be a good parent, how to be a good, brother, sister. So it starts very young with educational opportunities for those victims. Thank you.
Thank you.
it comes to healthcare, I myself, and I'm sure all of us have experienced this.
2 minutes, excuse me on that.
We have experienced this difficulty in somebody answering the phone or even getting in to get in an appointment in our clinic. It's been very, very difficult. There's times where we can call and we have to wait 2 weeks, 3 weeks, sometimes it's longer. And I think our clinic was put here to provide services for all of us that we need, whether it's eye, dental, or medical. We need to have that available to us. Through that, we can work collectively with our clinic manager and see what we need to do to make it work better for all of us. What do we need to do? Do we need to reach out for more doctors? And what is the difficulty that we're facing why we can't get another doctor or why we can't have a long-term doctor? Is there something that we need to work together on? That is one thing that I've seen. And by seeing that, we can all figure and work together on how we can do that to see long-term solutions for us for the clinic. Because we all need that services, and that's why it was put here, was for us to be able to use and benefit. Thank you.
Brian?
One of the biggest things that I seen, which is great, was my Aunt Harriet Mendez. That was her dream. Dolores Plunkett, that was her dream. Nancy Guzman, to have a facility down here on the reservation. Wendy Wickie, I can go on and on because everyone wants this in here. And it's great to see everyone here to know about this because we can get grants, we can make it bigger, we can expand it, we can have behavioral health there, we can have all these different services there. Then not only that, we can start contracting. That's the biggest one. That's where a lot of money can come in because if we start getting people with the right experience in there, we can start getting insurance and start charging people with that. Either with, we can charge Access, Blue Cross Blue Shield, and that's another way for funding because that's a lot of money going through the healthcare department down there, and we can take care of all that. Then provide better services down there, more people will come because then we can start paying them the right amount of money, being as down in Phoenix and everywhere else for the right services out there because you have to have certain educations with different fields like behavioral health, mental issues, substance abuse. And those, sometimes you have to have that education, but like all of us here, we're all educators here in one way or another. Everyone looks up to one another, so you just have to watch out who's out there. Look, we have a little girl here, which is great. Right here, she's learning, she's hearing everything here from young to old to middle, and we're all going to be here, and we're all going to have to go to that healthcare one day or another out there. It doesn't matter. Oh, I want to go. Yes, you'll go there. I go there a lot because you never know. And same thing. It's not because they don't want to serve you. It's just because they're limited on their staff, and we need to try to build that staff up there to get it going to our capacity where we don't have to wait days, weeks, or months to get in there for an appointment. Thank you.
One of the concerns is medical transport for our dialysis patients. Currently, there's a schedule for patients Monday through Friday, but there are no weekend transportation. So that is one area I would like to improve and enhance. There are grants available, through the Arizona Kidney Foundation for medical transport. We're going to have to think outside the box to provide those transportation for our dialysis patients. They're there, they're waiting. They have to rely on family and friends to provide rides back to the reservation or drop off at these locations. One other alternative is there is a Indian Health Service grant that will allow for us to, if we put our funds or private funds or other funds, that for 20 years they will fund us to enhance or expand our current medical center. That is 20 years of funding that will be provided to us if we could just collaborate together. This is one of the major concerns that our dialysis patients are currently facing is transportation to a much needed service. So that's one area of concern. There are many others. Thinking outside the box, go to urgent care, right? You can go off the reservation, pay $145, and you can get your care, but you have to pay the copay. That might be another alternative. And
trickle it down through Indian Health Services to expand our medical center. I'd like to see the stats to see how many people are health service, how many people we treat, and how many of them are Yavapai Apache and how many are not. Because I've been there a few times for other reasons, and I've seen that we service not just Yavapai Apache, but all of the federally recognized tribal members. So we've got something in our favor, and that's that we're centrally located right in Arizona. We have access to Navajo, Tonto, Yavapai, Prescott. If we could lobby for Indian Health Services to say we've got a prime location to treat not just Yavapai Apache Nation people, but other people from other tribes, and we're centrally located, we're right off I-17. It's easier to get here than you have to go all the way down to Phoenix. There's a possibility maybe they would go for it, knowing that they could have another big facility here. Now, of course, it still has to treat other tribal members from other reservations, but if you could grow our facility by lobbying with IHS, the federal government, to say, you know, we've got prime property that you should be interested in, because it's not just going to treat the Yavapai Apache Nation, it's going to treat all Indian people. And I would like to see those efforts go forward and see if any negotiations with IHS could be made to do that. Thank you.
This next question will be started by Brian. What is your goal in helping the cultural programs thrive?
How long?
1 minute.
1 minute. All right. Well, a lot of you know that my family and I go out and we help people out there. We do the best that we can, and we tell people, as long as you do it from the heart, you'll be fine. You don't have to praise, you don't have to put it on social media, because if you do that, it's not what it's about. It's about going out, helping them, showing them the way that I was taught, and trying to pass on the tradition out there. We're all here. Look at Thomasine shirt. Serve the people. Serve the community. Help them out, because when you have social dances, you have different areas. Yes, it takes time and money, and that's where we all come together to help one another. To go out there, go with my mother Catherine, Reba, Wendy, Nancy, anyone in here, Marjorie, right here, to go and learn the different ways from the Yavapai and Apache's ways, and collaborate them and work together and pass on this information and show them the dances, the songs, the traditional ways, going and gathering and picking, because we are hunters and gatherers still. Thank you.
Genevieve.
The goal in helping our cultural programs thrive begins with funding. One of the goals of the revenue allocation plan is to enhance our cultural and our programs. And so more funding, more accessibility to our tribal members. And one of the items of bringing the culture to our community was referenced in one of our work sessions, where we need to bring our building, our cultural building, to the community, where it's easy access for our community members to walk. We need to encourage that it be more open to allow the workers, because sometimes workers can't take off from work, right? So we need to have it more accessible to our tribal members. And that's the pleas that I've heard, that access to our culture. So we have to ensure that we have appropriate funding. We have grants coming in that is geared towards cultural program. And so just enhance that. Thank you.
John.
Can you restate the question again?
Yes. What is your goal in helping the cultural programs thrive?
So, if elected as chairman, I've got an idea that I'd like to share with the council, and then ultimately the government. For people to learn and know their culture, that's a personal decision based on how you were raised, made up, how much you're involved with it. But I know a lot of people want the language to come back. So the only thing the council or the executive office has power is on the employees. So I would push for mandatory language for Yavapai and Apache for the employees and make it mandatory. We would go down to possibly a 4-day work week, 4.5-day work week, to 4 hours mandatory for every employee to learn Yavapai or Apache language. Would be huge. If we did that 5 years ago, a lot of us would be talking to Yavapai or Apache, and you get paid to do it. So that boosts morale in the employments, because they're learning their culture and they want to learn it. And it gets the goal of our tribe to continue our cultures and our history, really. Thank you.
Tanya?
To have our culture thrive is by participating, us, ourselves, participating. I would also encourage our council to revisit our education policy. And at one point, it was geared basically towards higher education to allow our employees a certain amount of time per week to do education during work hours if they needed to. But I think it could be expanded to and revisited to fit towards culture as well, because culture is important to all of us. That's what makes us us. That's why we are Yavapai Apache Nation, is our culture, our language, our heritage. And that would be great for all of us to revisit that and look at that again. Thank you.
We'll start the next question with Genevieve here. Excuse me. If a developer came to you with a proposal to build a new piece of infrastructure for our tribe, how would you evaluate whether that project is worthy of implementation?
One of the first things we have to do if a developer comes to our tribe is due diligence. We have to do due diligence. We have to have a feasibility study. We have to look at that contractor or developer and see what their background is. Do they have the proper license? Do they have the proper license, capability, bonding? And is it feasible for our tribe? Do we have, we have to look at our finances. So feasibility study, business plan, there are all facets of having a developer come onto the reservation and bring it to the people. You need to know what the tribal council and your government is doing. So it's communication, it's collaboration, it's definitely due diligence. We have a lot of federal laws that we have to abide by. And is it going to improve the lives of our people? Thank you.
John?
Can you restate the question?
Yes, if a developer came to you with a proposal to build a new piece of infrastructure for our tribe, how would you evaluate whether that project is worth implementing?
Well, listen to his presentation and what he's saying he could do. Very personal. Look at where he's wanting to do it at, and a feasibility study. Well, obviously, you got to pay for that. It'll have to be done. Look at the land to see what its value is, to see if it's even being capable or has the infrastructure in place to do what this developer is proposing. And then two, meet with the council and ultimately, with the people to discuss this new possible venture. Economic development's tricky in the fact that, something may work great somewhere else, but because we're on federal land or trust or land that, it may not work the same way. So we got to figure out why they want to do it. Because developers don't just do it because they want to make you money. They do it because, they want to make money. So you got to look at everything that they're producing to you and providing and why they want to do it. There's a lot of things got to be looked at, but there is, work with the council, the community, and the government to see it through.
Tanya?
Bless you.
What we need to do is we need to, again, of course, is just do our due diligence for the contractor here or the person coming to us. We also need to make sure that it fits the needs of our people. It can't just be some developer coming in. It needs to fit our people. It needs to fit the services we have. It needs to fit the future for our children and also meet the financial needs of the people as well. And of course, down the line, there's always something in the end too, because the nation will have to pick up the expense at some point. So it's important for us to all sit down and really think the process through completely. And also what we need to do is include, as I stated, is our engagement part, is include the opinions of the people. That needs to be done very thoroughly, because big decisions like this, we need the opinions of our people too as well. Because we know what we need and what we would like to see, and it's best that we all work together for a brighter future for everybody. Thank you.
Brian?
So being a contracting officer representative for the military, one of the things that we have to abide by is bidding. If the developer comes in, it doesn't mean we take that individual. We have to have a bid out after a certain amount of funding that comes out and how much it's going to cost out there. And that's one of the things that I can't make that decision. Up here makes that decision, but more importantly, the people make that decisions. We put it out to the people. Is this what you want? Is this okay? And so forth. Because in order to make money, you have to spend money. And just like some of them said on this table, some things might work and some things might not, just because of our location, where we're at. We're remote, but we're dead center in the state of Arizona, where we're at right now. And we can have something built here, something real feasible, where everyone will come and enjoy it out here because we're in a prime location out here. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll start this next question. We'll start with John. I've been trying to combine a couple of questions so that I get through almost all of them. We're going to be here for doing this for about another 10 to 15 minutes before we go to closing. So I've been trying to combine a couple ones together. So this one is, how important is it to you concerning the ethics and conduct of tribal council members, vice chair and chair? And if you know of council members, any member of the council violating the ethics code, how would you approach the issue?
Okay, and how long do I have? How long do I have?
1 minute.
1
Excuse
minute.
me.
So tribal council, I mean, there's a code of ethics. I think I was on the council when we started developing that. It's got to be followed. Accountability for tribal council members is huge because we're professionals. We're supposed to be in a leadership position. So when you sit up there and you discuss things, or we have guests that come in, they're not, from our community, it's important to be professional, to, be responsible for what you say and how you say it. If that's not being abided by, then, that person needs to be held accountable. Obviously, that issue needs to be discussed amongst the council first, maybe even, definitely even discussed with that council member, chair or vice, and you got to work through it. You got to abide by the code of ethics that's written, because there's rules and regulations on how you're supposed to deal with those things, but hopefully it's just that personal contact, just saying, hey, that ain't going to work. That's not what we're here to do. You need to do better than that. And hopefully that conversation will solve it, but it may not.
Tanya?
Thank you. I believe with the code of ethics, when council members are sworn in, we all sign the document, that we have read it, understood it, and will abide by it. If any council member is seen to have or feel, another council member feels, or even one of us feel they have violated their code of ethics, I believe it's important that we can approach that council member individually and speak with them first. And just at least let them know, because I just feel sometimes it catches you off guard. Sometimes we don't know that one thing was said and it takes you back. But I think still we need to be held accountable for our actions, because we did sign and state, yes, we do read and understand what is expected of us, and we need to uphold the laws of the nation as well. And we need to respect each other too. And that's what I feel, is as long as we can have a one-on-one, and then of course if it feels it needs to go to the council, then yes, it would be taken to the council. Thank you.
Right.
With the code of ethics, there's always two sides to one story. So it's best to go and talk to them personally with it and see their side, get their side, and if it has to, then yes, bring it to council. Say, hey, council, this is what's going on. We're, like they say, we're all professionals. There's no need to raise our voice. There's no need to yell at each other. There's no need to attack each other up there when you're sitting up there. It's all about conducting yourself in a professional manner, because it trickles down if you don't. It trickles down to the employees, the communities, especially when you're yelling at the community members if you're sitting up here, because you make them feel less than. You make them feel not wanting to come back and present stuff and are scared to come back. Especially if they're employees, oh, they're going to go after me, they attack me, they don't like me. It's not about that, because then you're starting to interfere with your code of ethics. And you do sign a code of ethics, and it just tells you to the T what it is on there. And it can bring up, all right, and depending on different situations, depends on how you go forward with that, because it ultimately would also come from the council to see what process we'll have to take.
Thank you. Genevieve?
Each and every one of us, we have to sign the code of ethics. And the code of ethics, when individuals have complaints against tribal council, we actually had a response on Tuesday. And this council member had to apologize for saying the words yikes. Now, we really have to take into consideration, what is a code of ethics violation? Does it coincide with the Constitution and the requirements for removal? Because we have so many important issues that we need to deal with, but we, as a council, treat each other with respect. And if we don't want to be fighting in front of the council, in front of you, tribal members, we go behind closed doors and we deal with our issues in a professional and responsible manner. We've wasted way too much time on frivolous complaints that take away from what our real job is supposed to do. So all of us are adults, all of us know what our responsibility is, to be respectful, to do our job. That's what you hired us to do. Thank you.
Tanya, we will begin with you on this question. How will you make yourself available to the flow of administrative operations?
I am available 24/7. Even currently now in my position, I believe when we are offered and given the opportunity to have a work cell phone, we are to answer it, irregardless what time of the day it is. We do get busy calls. We do have emergencies. Some of us get in situations that are completely unforeseen, and we have to be available. And I know at times it can get when somebody doesn't answer the phone, or the mailbox isn't set up, or the voicemail isn't available. But I would be available 24/7 at all times. My number would be available for anybody to access if you needed to reach me at any time. And also, I would also have an open door policy. You're welcome to come in at any time, because all of our thoughts and opinions can be brought to the forefront, and in the long run, we all work together to make things happen, to make us a better nation. Thank you.
Brian?
Well, you have to have the trust and loyalty of all the community members to come and talk to you about any situation, and that's an honor to have when you built that up with the community members, because you do always want to have an open door policy for them to come in and share what they have to share with you on that. And we all have access to internet and phone, and that's privy to everybody, because that goes out in the directory. And the same thing, they run out of phone messages, it's full, and so forth. And yes, you have to go through them. There's times that you can answer them, but the best way to do it, also, if it voicemail's full, is email. If you have access to email, that's great. If not, because I know not everyone has social media or everyone has internet, you can come up here, leave a message, and so forth, and you can get back to you as soon as possible when we get those messages from whatever we're doing at that time. Even if we're away, they can call us or email us, hey, so-and-so came in and they have this that they want to talk to you. All right, that's great. Call them back. Thank you.
Yes, Genevieve. How will you make yourself available to the flow of administrative operations? And it's your turn.
Okay, so how will I make myself available for the flow of administrative operations is to be present, right? As an administrator of this Yavapai Apache Nation, you need someone that's going to be in this office or in the community addressing the concerns. There have been a lot of concerns by our tribal members that need immediate response. And so you have to be there in this nation, not off the reservation, doing a lot of conferences and stuff. But my main concern is the Yavapai Apache Nation. And as administrator, I have to be available for calls, to visit in person. We had a telephone poll go down in Clarkdale. Where was everybody? So there are immediate needs that need to be addressed. And if I'm an elected leader and I'm off the reservation not attending to my business here, then I'm doing a disservice to the community. I will be here, I will be present, and I will help. Thank you.
John?
Can you restate the question?
Yes. How will you make yourself available to the flow of administrative operations?
be available to the administration the same way I am now as a director. Everybody calls me on everything already, so I'm used to the phone calls, the emails, the after-hours calls. So I'm pretty used to being, there for everything. Being more involved with our directors, I know right now, it's kind of hard to get time in with the chair and the vice because they're on such a busy schedule with projects going off the reservation. So a lot of the stuff I'm really looking to do and being involved in is more in the communities. So accountability for me being here is going to be pretty easy. And I'm pretty used to it. I'm used to working long hours, being here, weird times, weird places. So really accountability. I plan on being accountable for the employees, for the community members. It's kind of what I've been doing all this time. So I'm used to it.
This next question will be, Brian, we'll start with this one, is do you know, or it's going to be a yes or no, and then I'm going to expand on it. So what is the present tribal unemployment rate, if you know it? And do you think our nation is healthy and successful? And if not, what would you implement or study to make changes? So that's 1 minute.
So I'm not privy to the information from Human Resources because that's confidential information out there. They can't put out who put in, who didn't show up, why didn't get the job, and so forth, because no one knows. It's only the HR director and so forth, because you don't know if they didn't have a driver's license, they didn't pass a drug test, background checks, and that's on them for that, because that's where the confidentiality comes from. And we have to stick completely with that. And with having to have different jobs out there and helping community members get jobs, we provide the resources, and it's up to the tribal members to seek out those resources, to get the jobs, to apply for those jobs and those positions. We help them out. We give them the learning information. We have WIOA there to help them out, to help them get their GED, to help them apply and proceed and make themselves feel comfortable and honored that they can do this on their own and feel like they can go and get a job. Then they go and get a job. And they work out their finances and personal lives.
Genevieve,
Can you repeat the question?
yes, what is the present tribal unemployment rate? And do you think our nation is healthy and successful? And if not, what would you implement or study to make changes?
Okay, so the present unemployment rate, I briefly looked at an economic impact statement that was on the internet, and I believe the unemployment rate of our nation ranges, just like other Native American communities, 50% or higher. A lot of our tribal members are unemployed. If you're going to live in one of those low-income tax credit houses, you cannot have a job prior to moving in. So our income, our unemployment rate is very high compared to other nations across the United States. That's one of the, that is not normal, but that's what the rates are usually. And then with respect to our nation is healthy and it is successful, but we can improve. Our successes are our businesses. They provide revenues coming into the nation. Our success is also the Cliff Castle Casino, even though we had some issues with the hotel. We are a successful tribe. Thank you.
John,
Can you restate the question, please?
what is the present tribal unemployment rate? And do you think our nation is healthy and successful? If not, what would you implement to study to make changes?
I don't know what the current rate is. I would say that we're fair. I think we've done better over the years with employing our tribal members. I think a lot of community members and tribal members have really kind of stepped up in a lot of positions that we hold now. But we could always do better. I mean, the goal has always been to have our people hold high director and manager positions. And some have been able to do that, and some, have either succeeded or they've failed for whatever reason. I think if we could look to see what those reasons are, and maybe we're failing on our side, on the government side, then maybe we can have a better understanding of what's what our people need to help them get those positions or hold those jobs. And we gotta, you know, for our non-natives that do hold those managing directors jobs, we need to have a good conversation with them, let them know. The goal is one day for us to have all tribal members working in those positions. And a lot of the current directors and managers, they probably support that because they respect our tribe. You know, they're working for us and they appreciate the job, but they should have the same goals and ambitions we as tribal people do too.
Tanya?
Thank you. I believe our unemployment rate for tribal members is about, I would say about 30%. We're about a third of unemployment right now on the reservation. Yes, we do have a healthy economy. The thing I would encourage, and even Human Resources has done this, it doesn't limit their trainings to just employees. It has actually extended out to us community members if we would like to participate in the training opportunities they have. So by doing that, it brings enhancement to all of us. And I would encourage that enhancement through our departments as well, especially through the WIOA, as we know that our children are our future. And it's important through the summer youth program, or even if they're in the WIOA program, to enhance those skills, interviewing skills, general skills, to help us just build our skill base. And even now today, we all can continue learning, even if it's just small little things to help us grow. Thank you.
I have basically two more questions, and I want to be respectful of closing statements. So the next one, the next two will each be around, well, I think we can get to 30 seconds on both of them. I know it's tight there. I think you can get it in there. Do you see, and we will begin with Genevieve on this one. Do you see gaming as sustainable for our nation for the next 20 to 50 years?
Gaming and sustainability is going to depend on the compact. And it's also what's going to come into play is the ability for sports betting. So currently there's been negotiations and we need to be at the table because gaming is just, it's going to be short-lived for us. And we need to be prepared for when those doors of opportunity open for those ones off the reservation that they are going to be allowed to do gaming. They will, and it's going to hurt us. Thank you.
John, what do you see? Do you see gaming as sustainable for our nation for the next 20 to 50 years?
No, I don't see it going that way. Arizona's, you know, they're doing so much more trying to get involved in gaming, and it's impacting tribes across the states. We need to be involved with those discussions, but no, I don't. I think we need to diverse our portfolio for the tribe, not just rely on gaming. I think it's starting to get played out a little bit. It's great. It's been a great asset for the tribe thus far, but, you know, if we're going to move forward for our youth, you know, we really got to look elsewhere. So no, I don't believe gaming is the way of the future.
Tanya?
No, it isn't. No, it will not last us 20 to 50 years. As we all shared with everybody, it's important to diverse our economy. It's important to look at other opportunities for our future generations. So we have that to stand on. As I said before, gaming is here. It's great, but it will short-lived because the compact negotiations is a very difficult part, and it doesn't take just the Yavapai Apache Nation. It takes 22 tribes within the state of Arizona to make this happen. Thank you.
Brian?
The way the market works, you never know if we're going to go into a recession like we did about 10 years ago. And if we do, then no. The casino will go down, and we have to rely on economics. That's why economics is real big nowadays, because we need to start working on different things out there, different ways that we can earn different incomes and support without the gaming, just in case it goes down. Then we can still work and have everyone have jobs here and be self-sufficient with that. Thank you.
Our last question before we go to closing statements, and we have 30 seconds, is what does it mean to be a virtuous leader, and why do you think you can be one? And somewhat associated this is, since we are a nation, do you think our leaders should be president and vice president and not chair and vice chair? And I will start with John on that.
In 30 seconds, huh?
Yep.
All right. virtuous leader is somebody that shares his ideas, his skills, his traits with those around him, and develops his leadership following by that. Being humble, being sharing, not just saying I can do everything, because honestly, nobody up here can do everything. You got to rely on your team, and we have a huge team here, community members and employees. And as far as president and vice president, chair and vice will work just fine. It depends on who sits in there.
Thank you, Tanya.
A virtuous leader, yes. I'm very open, I'm very honest, I'm very forthcoming, and I'm very transparent. If you ask me a question, it's straight to the point. I don't beat around the bush. I keep myself available. I always keep myself available, and I'm also inclusive with the community. I participate when I can, where I can, and I keep my children, my family also joins in, which makes it even better, makes us stronger, makes all of us stronger together to see us be together. Oh gosh. And then the other part, I can't even answer.
Can you repeat that?
Yes.
Thank you.
What does it mean to be a virtuous leader, and why do you think you can be one? And what do you think of using the titles of president and vice president instead of chair and vice chair?
Well, we're using big words now. Virtuous leader, just like an artist. That's what I would be right now. Because the first thing you have to realize is that you don't know everything. Because if you say you know everything, that's your first sign of failure. First sign of failure is knowing the loyalty of the people and being humble and having the respect of them, and then being loyal to you, saying, okay, you need to slow down a little bit, and listening to them. All right, yes, you're right, back off a little bit. And we'll do that, and making them feel invited to come in and talk to you and not be scared, and leave it vice chair and chair. There's no need to change it unless we want to, but that's not our decision.
Genevieve.
Okay, so virtuous leader. Okay, so one of the things is I'm not a perfect person, but I strive to be. I know what needs to be improved, and what I do is I pray for guidance, and I ask for not to lean on my own understanding, but to pray that I am provided the wisdom to do what's best for our nation. Now, and with respect to the president and vice president, that's up to the people to change the Constitution. And I think chair and vice chair is perfectly fine. Thank you.
With that, thank you, audience, for all of your questions. And we will go to closing statements, 1 minute, and I will begin with Brian Marquez.
All right, got it wrapped up. All right, my name is Brian Marquez, and I'm honored and privileged to run for the vice chair of the Yavapai Apache Nation. Remember, the Constitution, the preamble, what does it say right at the beginning? We, the people of the Yavapai Apache Nation. And we have to stick with that because we're going to be working for you, not I. It's us to give you what we have in the hardest capacity we can. We're not all going to agree with everything, but remember, there's different solutions to everything. And it's just finding out those ways. If we approach something and we present it to council and it doesn't pass, we redo it again and do it over to make it work. We need to work on different ways, different sources. And we all have good things up here. Everyone up here has good ideas up here. Everyone up there has good ideas. Everyone out here has good ideas. And that's what makes us strong today because we need to come together. And it's great right now because of social media. It's been good. We're not like the mainstream society where everyone's bashing. Let's keep it that way because we're coming closer together. We're not spreading apart. Thank you, and I hope I have your support and your vote.
Tanya Lewis.
Thank you. I appreciate everybody who has gotten me this far and even further, if possible. I will work very hard. I am committed to working hard, working for you, working for everybody, and especially working hard with our tribal council. Our tribal council has good ideas, good deeds, and they work, and we're just ready to work just as hard. I'm ready to work with a chairperson and work together to move our administration forward, make us stronger, and make sure that we provide the service and meet the needs of our people. It's a great opportunity to be here. I am a very spiritual person, and I pray for all of us. And I know that we will do good. We will go forward. In this administration, in this election, I know the future council will go forward. I seek your support and your votes on September 21st. Thank you.
John Hewitt.
Thank you, everybody, for coming and listening to all of us speak. You know, my goal and ambitions for running for chairman is pretty torn because I really like my job. I've been doing it for such a long time. It's been such a huge part of my life, and it's provided for my family. But I can do things on this side too. I can get things done. I'm goal-driven. I like challenges. I'm very competitive by nature. Honestly, I hate politics. I'll actually be happy when this election's over. A lot of people tell me, you know, why don't you get your signs out there, do more, do this. It's so hard for me to do that because, for one, I don't like to brag about myself or just be that way. But I know it kind of comes with the job as chairman. I'd rather lead by example and just do the work. And if it happens, it happens. So I just want to say thank you. If I let some of you guys down with the way I campaign, I'm sorry, but that's who I am. And hopefully if you vote for me, you can get to see the stronger side of me, your leader as a chairman, and we can prosper and continue to move forward as a tribe. So, thank you, everybody.
Genevieve Dotson.
Okay, the decision to run for chairperson was a very hard decision. I had to speak to my family, I had to pray about it, and I had to sacrifice. And I sacrifice every day to be here, to advocate for you. And it was not an easy decision. And so what I bring to you and what I brought to you for the last 2 years is perseverance, is dedication, is due diligence. These are the things plus more. And so I'm asking for your support to help me help our nation. We have to not be divided. We have to work together for the whole citizens of the Yavapai Apache Nation. You know where my heart is, you know where my compassion is, and I will continue to fight. So I'm asking for your vote as the next chairperson of the Yavapai Apache Nation on September 21, 2019. Thank you.
So with that, I would like to begin our opening statements with David Quayle, 2 minutes.
Good morning. I would like to begin with my education. I went to Camp Verde High School, didn't graduate. Then I went on later to NAU and went there 3 years, didn't graduate. And the only reason I went there was because I had people, my people, and I was a tribal council member then, and probably even chairman, asked me, why are you leading us and you're not even educated? So I went out and got my GED. I went to NAU 3 years, and I needed to work. And I just left school. Got good grades, got great. The only thing that I made well in then was English. Hey, of all things, at a university. It was fun. But that's my education. I've ran for council since I can't remember if it was 79 or 78, way back. And I did get in as a council member. I've been re-elected many times thereafter. First time I became chairman was in 1980, a couple of years or so after I got elected to council. And back in those days, it was only, you serve only 1 year. So, and it was only the 8 councilmen that were elected back then to vote for you. So they did big decisions back in that time for people who would lead the tribe. I came in when we had no money. There was no casino. We were in debt. Our former councilmen, chairmen, spent the money unwisely. I came into debt. But I came out of that by hiring good attorneys, financial attorneys also to take us out of that.
Thank you. Ricardo Pacheco.
Right. Good morning. My name is Ricardo Pacheco. My mother is Jeanette Beauty. I'm currently the youngest of 6 siblings. Right now, I manage a restaurant over at 260 the Bonnie Mexican Restaurant. I'm currently on the business board for the tribe, so I help oversee enterprises. I'm currently on the benefits committee for the tribe as well. And I've worked in the casino in the past as a supervisor in the gallery, which was a restaurant before the buffet. And I was also a table game supervisor, so I was a pit boss, so I oversee some of the table games that we had there. I think due to my experiences in the business management and the gaming industry, I think I'm a pretty good candidate for the council positions that we have open. That's pretty much all I have.
Roberta Pavatea.
Good morning, and thank you for being here, taking your time out to be with us. But again, if you read my flyers, read my article in the paper of why I'm running for council, and if you attended council meetings with our nation, I'm one of you sitting back there very concerned about where we're headed as a nation. But my background is law enforcement, not only as a tribal court defense advocate and also former probation officer, former federal officer. So my background is law. And to be a virtuous leader is to be humble. And like I said, you know, my actions speak louder than sitting up in here and saying, you know, I've done this and why I'm qualified. I'm just a very active community member and an elder, and very concerned about the issues that tribal members have brought before the tribal council and have never gotten answers for. But our elections are getting very serious, and we should all be very concerned about people that have integrity. We really need to watch and be awake to the things that are happening around us. But most importantly of all, to be concerned about where the nation is headed financially and even as a namesake. And I thank you again for being here.
Afia Sherwin.
Good morning, Davide, she Afia Shirley Jose, she Tatwan Shirley Jose, she Marbrenda Shirley Jose. Good morning, I am the daughter of Tony Shirley and the late Brenda Shirley. My maternal grandmother is the late Annabelle Laurie. I am a member of our nation. I grew up here in the Middle Ridge Reservation. And I recently ran for the vice chair seat and, you know, unfortunately didn't make it through the primary. However, I'm here running for council as well. My background, I recently worked with the casino as a training specialist. And currently, I'm doing some part-time graphic design work. I'm an entrepreneur. I've helped run a local public relations firm. I have worked with the nation in different capacities. I worked with the tribal government under the Public Relations Office, and also on the volunteer side, I work with the Tribal or the Constitution Committee. I currently sit as a chairperson. I have worked with the Youth Council, the Unity Youth Council in the past as one of our advisors. I am also a children's church leader, a Sunday school teacher with the Millbury Rock Church. So those are some of my qualifications as far as working with the nation and doing volunteer work and advocacy for our youth. I am running for tribal council because I believe that we need to make a positive change. I don't know how I can make this change effectively. If change will happen overnight, as we know it doesn't always happen that way. But I am here to try to make a difference. I am a hard worker, and I am here to work for the people of the nation. I believe that our council has a responsibility to listen to the people to have an open heart and open mind, and to effectively lead for our future. Thank you.
Thank you. Sylvia Wilson.
Good morning. I am Sylvia Wilson, and I live in Clarkdale. I have, my mother is Lupe Russell. My father is Tommy Lewis. I've lived in Clarkdale all my life and went to school at Clarkdale Jerome School, what it is now. I went to Mingus Union, and I dropped out of school because I needed to help my mom at the time, and went to school to be a nurse's aide, and then I started in on my nursing degree, and I didn't finish that. And, you know, I just got interested in knowing and learning about all what was going on with the tribe here. I have been serving with the boards that have been available, some have not. You know, I was a CHR for the longest time. I am on a education board right now at Clarkdale Jerome School. I have been on other boards, Phoenix Indian Health Board. I was with the Gaming Commission. Prior to that, I worked as TGO at the casino, and I left there to run for tribal council in 2004, and I went back to the casino. I have been working with other people in the community as a person to help with their abilities to get to and from wherever they're going. And I want to run for council because of the things that I have been doing and how I've been helping each program that I could do.
Thank you. Let's start with this question, and we'll start with Ricardo on this. What's the most important issue or biggest challenges you see facing the nation, and how would you work on resolving them if you were elected to the tribal council? And let's do 1 minute.
I think our biggest issue right now, what we have common is the growth. And right now, our economic development and everything is not keeping up with the growth that we have. Our police department's not keeping up. I mean, we're not funding them enough to put, people, more law enforcement out there with our growth that we have. We have a new development coming up over in Clarkdale, and I think that we need to look into more economic developments and more law enforcement for the crime. Yeah, that's my biggest thing is the growth. The growth that's coming, and then will we have enough jobs and security pretty much to comfort the people.
Roberta.
The biggest downfall of the nation is our golden goose, which we seem to have lost control of. And I'm not saying we as tribal members, but as a council body, that they don't really protect our golden goose as far as making sure that the assets are kept within the government. There's been a lot of bad decisions made on behalf of the council that has taken away from our tribal members, such as the capital. But we're also facing a downfall in our family structure. And with that, it comes respect for one another. And how are we going to regain our strength if we don't respect each other and value each other's opinions and ideas? So, it's a matter, again, you've heard it all this morning, of collaborating with one another, being open with one another, having communication and integrity. Thank you.
I'll see you.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're fine.
I think that our nation faces a ton of issues, and definitely challenges. One of the ones that I want to really bring up is what I heard from a tribal member, is that our nation and our tribal government has become more reactive to a lot of the issues that we face. And this is in regard to even how we progress into the future. We become reactive to decisions that are made. We become reactive to issues that we face. But in order to come up with solutions and in order to move forward and to progress, we have to be proactive. And this is something that, myself as a trainer, we talk to a lot of our team members at the casino in regard to marketing and guest service. We have to become proactive in seeing what our tribal members need, proactive in seeing what we're facing in the future. When we talk about economic development in the casino, it can only last us so long. We do need to be more diverse in what we want to implement in the future, whether it's in regards to economic development and in regard to policies that our nations are implementing for our tribes.
Thank you. Sylvia?
I believe that the serious problems that we have is our housing. I believe that alcohol and drugs play a big part in how we do our selection for housing, how we are living under some big pressure. I believe water is our big problem also, and we need to use more water in order to do some things that we need to get done that are positive with the nation here. I also believe that programs that we have here can be a major, big solving problem for the people that we have. But I also think that, we need to concentrate on our tribal members.
David?
The biggest issue is employment. You heard prior candidates say it's as low as 37%, it's low as upper 50%. That tells me, we need jobs here. Along with needing that, we need economic development to be created. That's going to be our outlet. And if there's no development, there's no new jobs. We just have to correct that with ourselves. The casino's there, it's still making money. And I understand that if we do development, anything in economic development, the casino pays for it. It comes off from the top. Everything we've done with land, with buildings, comes from the top. The casino pays for it. So we got to watch ourselves.
I will start with Roberta on this one. How do you plan to involve tribal members in the decision-making process in our government?
Well, that comes first from tribal members approaching coming to tribal council meetings and really valuing their voice, because right now you have council that runs by a very strict agenda. And yes, we're granted once a month meeting in the evenings to voice our opinions, but we're put on a time clock. I believe that the agenda should allow tribal members to voice their opinion at any council meeting, because our opinion of what has been going on with our nation is very important to a sitting body that has never attended council meetings until they got into council. And with the input of tribal members that have been sitting out there and that do know things that they don't know, I said it's very important in order to make that movement forward. Thank you.
Afia?
I agree with, Roberta on this stance. I think there's a lot of responsibility for tribal members to step forward and be involved. And this is one of the things I noticed with the Constitution Committee. As you know, we've sent out numerous surveys, but we only get back a small percentage of that. And when it comes to decision-making, many people that I've noticed don't get involved until a decision has been made. And it comes back also to the responsibility of a tribal leader and the tribal council. What are you doing to further reach out to our tribal members? We can send out so many flyers, we can put things in a newspaper, but if we're not meeting with the people to see what it is they want for our nation, whether it's a strategic plan and having tribal member input, because there are so many there are so many different backgrounds that sit upon this stance back here, but there are so many other tribal members out there who have different ideas and different solutions and different ways to be innovative to how we can move in the future. So I think the relationship comes back to both tribal members to be involved, but also council to reach out and extend to the members to say, we need your input on our decisions.
Thank you, Thea. Sylvia?
Under the gaming compact, we have EDA program. The EDA works along with the tribal council. We also have a business board, and I believe that the business board should be under the EDA or in regards to the businesses that we want to create. Those are the things that make this nation grow. And EDA should be bringing everything to the business board and to the tribal council so that we can do the things that need to get done. I also believe that with information from there that it should go to the people, number one, so that we can create something that is for the nation's people. Thank you.
David?
Hi, repeat the question.
Yes, I will. How do you plan to involve tribal members in the decision-making process in our government?
And the first thing is for tribal members to get involved with tribal council. Get involved with the issues is the answer and the solution. We need to be more informed of what those concerns are that pertain to tribal council as to why we're not getting beyond the how to deal with issues. So our people need to know that. They need to come here and find out about it. I know our hall here is not even full when council meetings go on. Very few, and almost the same few. That is why tribal members do not know issues. They may have the best solutions, but you're not here to hear our concerns, the concerns.
Ricardo?
I agree with the candidates here. Tribal members do need to get more involved with the council meetings and the community meetings that they do have. But I also think it's our part as far as leaders to getting out there and getting up here, go door to door, bring up issues, see what kind of questions and issues they have, and just try to persuade them to come. Persuade, it's everybody's opinion is good. I mean, somebody's going to have, all of us are going to have different opinions and different objectives, and we all have something to bring to the table. So I think it is important to get everybody involved and have them come in here and have a voice. And us as leaders or whoever's there to lead, to listen, and learn, because we can learn.
Great. Next question, I'll start with Afia on this one. In the past, tribal council liked to micromanage departments. What are your thoughts about this, and are you for it or against it?
I am against it. Our Constitution states that those that sit on the tribal council are the legislature, and those that sit there, we have three branches of government. executive, legislature, and judiciary. The council sits on legislature. They are not supposed to be involved in anything to do with administration, anything to do with executive. So I am against it. The council should not be overseeing these departments. I know that directors do report to council in regard to their programs, in regard to things that are going on. But the legislative body is supposed to make our laws and our policies here at the nation, and that is that responsibility for them. The council is supposed to be here fighting for our rights and fighting to keep us safe and fighting to make sure we have our land and our water and everything protected. So I don't think that they should be overseeing or micromanaging any departments.
Sylvia?
I understand that sometimes there are some things that the executive should do, but also staying away from the programs that are here with the nation. I also believe that directors have the right to come before the council whenever they feel that there's a major problem. And then they can also go to the meetings that they have and report the issues that come about and let the director help with the director so that she can see what can be done to make things a little bit better. You know, we're not all in this department, but maybe there's something else where they can go to find out what can be done to help the program that they're director over. Thank you.
David?
Micromanage being the staff for the tribal government is, for me, I don't agree. I don't agree that tribal council should manage because they develop programs, they develop budgets, and who carries all that out? It's a chairman, the vice chair. They see to the business of all those departments. And when you have someone disrupted because of something said, because of problems, it should be recognized and given to the leadership, the chair and the vice, to execute something there. They need to fix a problem, and if they can come to tribal council. We'll help them. We have ideas of what probably needs to be done, and so, as I said earlier, we commingle our businesses to make things better.
Ricardo?
I'm against micromanagement. As a supervisor or manager, or even a business owner, I would put you in a position, and I mean, when I put you in that position, I trust you to make the best decisions for that, business or department or whatever. So, I believe in the chain of command, and once that chain of command is broke, you're not gonna have. Once somebody breaks that, and you start to micromanage, that's when everything starts to fall apart. So I do believe that I'm against micromanagement.
Roberta?
And there's different issues that come before the tribal council. A lot of it is tribal members' issues. But employment issues, like Mr. Pacheco said, there is a chain of command, and you need to follow that and respect that. But also at the same time, tribal council is up here representing you. Tribal council needs to make it an issue with themselves within the body to ask the administration, how are you addressing this problem? How are you going to solve it? So that's just the communication that needs to be kept up. But when you see a body of legislators that totally give it to administration, but don't do their responsibility of finding out, because council members are asked, what are you guys doing with that? And as a tribal member right now, I don't like to be told, I don't know. Thank you.
next question I'll have start with Sylvia on this one. This question has to do with your pay, your salary that you get as council members, and there are several questions, so I'm going to try to group this in this. First is, what is your opinion regarding the current council salary? Too high, too low? This is after considering travel, lodging, training, and per diem, which are covered. And if elected, would you be in favor of lowering their pay from $60,000 to $42,000, starting in January 2020? So a minute with that, Sylvia.
The payment is pretty high. I believe I was one of them that objected to the pay. But from my understanding is that we need to have the whole council agree on lowering their pay. I also believe that there is a way to do this in regards to having a special meeting and file a complaint with the enrollment board, the election board, to get this done and go through BIA to lower this payment. If that special election requires individuals to go up and above the requirement of voters that have been voting for the last so many years. Thank you.
Thank you. David?
I have no problem with the salary for the tribal council. I have a concern that we did this years ago. I got the most, we petitioned at tribal council